Range Rover SUV's evolution from countryside workhorse to luxury transport for society's well-heeled elite means there is more scope for customization than you could ever really need. There are half a dozen trim levels, 2 wheelbase lengths, 3 types of powertrain and even a supercarbating SV Autobiography dynamic model. A Range Rover for all types of driver. It's a lineup that rivals including the Audi Q7, Bentley Bentayga and Porsche Cayenne card holder Candle 2. But is it the best luxury SUV available? Supreme on-road comfort, think Range Rover and you'll naturally imagine a huge SUV yomping around an estate, country, rather than housing, but on tarmac is where the modern car finds its home. Corsetting air suspension, thick glass windows and massive armchair seats make the Range Rover a supremely comfortable car to drive and be driven in. If the latter is more up your street, you'll want the long wheelbase car with its executive class rear seating, including powered recline, massage function and fridge in the center console. Still epic off-road. That said, it's good to know that if you want to take a shortcut across a boggy field, the Range Rover has you covered there too. Land Rover's Terrain Response 2 system allows you to select what type of terrain you're on so it can tune all the various systems for you, or you can leave it up to its own devices in automatic mode. Gadgets like all-terrain progress control, off-road cruise control, and hill descent control make slight work of obstacles, and the Range Rover can wade in water up to 900 mm deep. Massive range of engines. You've got the option of 2 diesels, 3 petrols and a plug-in hybrid in your Range Rover, all of which we've detailed in the performance section. At opposite ends of the scale, the SV Autobiography version uses a supercharged V8, while the P400e plug-in hybrid combines a 300 horsepower 4-cylinder Ingenium petrol engine with a 116 horsepower electric motor. Powering the latter is a 13.1 kWh lithium-ion battery, meaning a total system output of 404 horsepower and 640 Nm of torque. The verdict: luxury, image, presence. The Range Rover SUV has it all. A plug-in hybrid model and more glamorous interior added for 2018 means there's now a model for the environmentally conscious too. Relatively economical diesel V6 torquey petrol and diesel V8's impressive hybrid all-rounder. Land Rover says the Range Rover's performance is as good off the road as it is on it. The aim of this 4x4 is to provide a truly refined, luxurious drive on the road, while remaining capable of tackling the most difficult off-road terrain. As such, you've got the choice of 2 diesels and 3 petrol engines, including Trab Jag V8s, newer V6s, high-performance SV Autobiography models and a plug-in hybrid. Diesel engines. Land Rover bolstered the diesel lineup in this latest Range Rover by introducing a 3.0-litre, 6-cylinder motor alongside the 4.4-litre V8. 3.0-litre TDV6. The entry diesel engine may be less powerful than its 8-cylinder stablemate, but 258 horsepower and 600 Nm of torque allows the 6-pot Range Rover to waft along at an admirable clip, terminating at 130 mph. It's about a second slower from 0 to 62 mph, taking 8 seconds, but it's also a lot lighter, so its performance never really feels dwarfed by the larger unit. The obvious saving here is economy, but it's not at the cost of performance. There is always a good amount of pulling power thanks to maximum torque arriving at 2000 revolutions per minute. Off-road, it never seems to lack power, whether driving over sand dunes or working its way up rocky slopes, while on-road motorway cruising is swift and stress-free. Overtaking is never an issue, although power fades as the red line approaches, so there's no point wringing this motor out. 4.4-litre SDV8. On paper, the V8 is the faster of the 2 diesel units, taking 6.9 seconds to sprint from 0 to 62 mph, and topping out at 135 mph. It packs a bigger punch on paper, thanks to 339 horsepower and 740 Nm of torque. The difference to the V6 diesel is not so noticeable out on the road. The performance gap feels smaller than its near whole second advantage would suggest. Where the V8 does feel quicker and more muscular is at the top of the rev range. It's also very refined and quiet, with torque generated from a low down 1750 revolutions per minute. This is not an engine for the budget conscious, or those looking for scandalous performance. However, if you value fuss-free acceleration, supreme drivability and a huge reserve of power, the V8 diesel is a peerless all-rounder in the Range Rover lineup. Petrol engines. If ever there was a sign of diesel's waning popularity, it was the introduction of a V6 petrol Range Rover. This joins the long-standing V8, which has also been beefed up for a special performance model. 3.0-litre supercharged V6. The V6 supercharged petrol engine delivers 340 horsepower, about the same as the V8 diesel, but only 450 Nm of torque, which is substantially less. As you'd expect, the 0 to 62 miles per hour time is between that of the V6 and V8 diesels at 7.4 seconds, and the top speed is 130 miles per hour. While it's not the slowest engine you can have in a Range Rover, the power delivery is much less muscular than either diesel option or V8 petrols. That means the V6 has to be worked hard to keep pace with, in the case of either diesel, cheaper stablemates. In a luxury car, that's quite annoying. That said, at lower revving nature of the V6 petrol makes it noticeably quieter than its diesel alternative. If you don't do the annual mileage to justify a diesel and don't mind compromising on power delivery, the V6 petrol is a fine choice. 5.0-litre supercharged V8. This is a lot of engine and as such delivers a lot of performance. The 0 to 62 miles per hour time dips to 5.4 seconds, 5.5 in the long wheelbase car, while the top speed is limited to 155 miles per hour. That's largely down to the 525 horsepower and 625 Nm of torque this motor produces, offering a deep well of power from very low down in the rev range. While it's a refined engine on the move, externally you can expect a menacing burble at low speeds and a bassy roar that builds with acceleration. SV Autobiography Dynamic. This model uses the same 5.0-litre V8 but with power levels boosted to 565 horsepower and 700 Nm, so it's breathtakingly fast and distinctly more purposeful in voice. That power hike shaves 3/10 off the 0 to 62 miles per hour in short and long wheelbase forms, while top speed remains artificially pegged at 155 miles per hour. If you want the ultimate in Range Rover performance, look no further. Plug-in hybrid model replacing the previous conventional hybrid Range Rover. The P400e plug-in hybrid combines a 300 horsepower 4-cylinder Ingenium petrol engine with a 116 horsepower electric motor. Powering the latter is a 13.1 kWh lithium-ion battery, meaning a total system output of 404 horsepower and 640 Nm of torque. This results in a particularly potent 0 to 60 miles per hour time of 6.8 seconds, beaten only by the V8 petrol Range Rover, and top speed of 137 miles per hour. You can use the petrol and electric motors in parallel or in pure F mode, in which case the P400e can manage 31 miles when fully charged. This'll take 7.5 hours on a domestic 3-pin plug. With a top speed of 85 miles per hour, the hybrid system can use the vehicle's sat-nav to work out when to use electricity, but there's a manual battery save override too for when you're driving outside an urban area. Automatic gearbox only. There's no manual option, only the 8-speed automatic transmission, which combines smooth shifting and, on the whole, quick responses. If the autobox isn't quick enough for you, there are steering wheel mounted paddles as standard, but we found it best left to its own devices. Previous engines. The Range Rover was previously sold with a conventional hybrid powertrain combining the 3.0-litre V6 diesel engine with a battery-powered electric motor, totaling 354 horsepower and a towering 700 Nm of pulling power, to hurl it from 0 to 62 miles per hour in an impressive 6.9 seconds. 3 selectable driving modes included: electric motor only, diesel engine only, or both together. The car could also be left to its own devices and switch between the 3 modes automatically. On the road, it was just as quiet and powerful as the regular diesel Range Rover. The brakes were a little abrupt, and there was a very slight hesitation in the power delivery, but the FF otherwise had the same imperiously smooth driving characteristics as the rest of the range. It was just as capable off-road too, and even though the battery was mounted at the base of the vehicle, the ground clearance is unchanged. Lighter weight bodywork and suspension, loads of tech to help it on and off-road terrain. Response 2 tackles tricky surfaces on road. Despite its size, the Range Rover uses an all-aluminium body, and there's plenty of the lighter weight componentry used in the standard air suspension. There's also a lot of tech at work. Adaptive dynamic stampers monitor vehicle movements up to 500 times a second to ensure a composed ride, while dynamic response, only on V8 cars, reduces the amount of body lean. In fact, there is little lean even when turning sharply. That's a very noticeable difference over the old model. At low speeds, the steering is nicely weighted and turning into tight roundabouts is surprisingly easy despite what seems a large car. At higher speeds there is little feel from the steering, but the response to any steering inputs is quick enough. It is a big improvement, but not as road performance focused as such rivals as the Porsche Cayenne. Off-road Range Rover capability. This, unsurprisingly, is an area where the Range Rover excels. Land Rover has years of experience when it comes to plowing new furrows off-road and tests its vehicles from the freezing cold of Sweden to the arid sand dunes of Dubai. That means it's more than capable of traversing a muddy campsite or horse trials car park. Again, there's loads of tech to thank here. The main component is Land Rover's Terrain Response 2 system, standard on all but base-spec Evoque cars, which monitors the surface you're on and optimizes the vehicle's engine, gearbox, center differential and chassis. There are 7 settings: general driving, grass/gravel/snow, mud and ruts, sand, and rock crawl. There's also an auto mode that works it all out for you. Lastly, you can pick from comfort and dynamic in post-2017 facelift cars. Secondly, there's all-terrain progress control, not on the plug-in hybrid, which is a sort of off-road cruise control. It maintains speed between 1 mile per hour and 18 miles per hour so you can concentrate on finding a clear path. Low traction launch helps you pull away easily on low friction surfaces, while hill descent control makes short work of steep descents by maintaining a constant speed for you. The last gadget is the optional wade sensing assistant. This helps you crossing standing water by using sensors in the door mirrors to measure depth. The Range Rover can drive in water up to 900 millimeters deep. On the sand dunes where we tested the Range Rover, the four-wheel drive always found grip, including in deep sand, and the hill descent control is extremely effective in providing an easy way to tackle steep drops. The low-range gearbox helps with tackling very gnarly rock-strewn riverbeds, and the tight turning circle helps with threading through narrow gaps. Plug-in hybrid off-road Land Rover reckons the FF Range Rover is even better off-road than a conventional car thanks to its greater torque from standstill, enhancing low-speed control and pull away on low-grip surfaces. Terrain Response 2 has been tweaked due to the electric motor's maximum torque from 0 RPM, and the wading depth is unchanged. Reduced switch count means lack of clutter. New 10-inch touchscreen is more responsive. High-quality materials used throughout. Think Starship Enterprise meets Harrods, although models built after 2018 have had the number of buttons and switches has been reduced by around 50%. There's a rotary controller and 10-inch wide-format touchscreen at the heart of the most commonly used functions, plus a 12.3-inch virtual instrument panel, which replaces the analog dials, and brings features like sat-nav and media information. The steering wheel hosts 2 pods of controls, with one controlling the cruise control, and the other accessing the car's various functions such as audio, telephone, etc. Touch Pro Duo screen. New for 2018 is a Touch Pro Duo screen, comprising 2 high-definition 10-inch touch screens on the center console, an arrangement first seen on the Range Rover Velar. You can have sat-nav information on one while more functional tasks like the climate control can be held on the other. A next-generation head-up display system uses a 10-inch full-color projector for information like vehicle speed and directions, which look like they're hovering beyond the windscreen to reduce the need to refocus your eyes. Also added was a gesture-controlled sun blind, opened and closed by a swipe of your hand. Commanding driving position. The quintessentially upright stature, called command driving position in Range Rover's Peak, means you get a good view around the car and its surroundings. This is obviously beneficial for off-roading, but it also offers you a good view on asphalt too, making the Range Rover's cabin feel luxurious and safe, high up above the rest of the traffic. Aiding your view out is the low-profile bonnet and proximity of the driving seat to the door. This makes it easy to lean out of to aid parking maneuvers. High-quality cabin materials. Regardless of trim or wheelbase, the Range Rover comes packed with luxury natural materials, such as soft leathers, semi-aniline in high-grade cars, and warm wood veneers. In contrast to these are the highly polished metal details, which are cool to the touch and brighten the cabin, and feature on the side of the center console, the gear shifter and air vents. You can choose to light the cabin with interior LED lighting in 10 colors, plus there's a panoramic roof, fixed as standard, sliding for a fee. SV Autobiography Dynamic and Long Wheelbase are the ultimate Range Rovers for maximum opulence or performance. You want either the long wheelbase or dynamic models, each offering an uplift in cabin quality and luxury. This comes in the form of diamond quilted leather, grand black door veneers and loads of knurling added to the various switches and shifters. Pick the SV Autobiography Dynamic and you also get a leery looking red key line to help it stand out against the standard car. Air suspension is better on rough roads. Huge amounts of interior space on offer supremely comfortable seats in the front or back. Redesigned front suspension is said to be better at absorbing smaller bumps that normally upset the ride in an air setup, like the one used by the Range Rover. We certainly thought it wafted nicely over UK roads, but felt slightly less composed when compared to something lower and sleeker like a Mercedes-Benz S-Class. Seat comfort is also a strong point, with an optional massage function offering 5 programs for driver and passenger, as well as 12-way electronic adjustment and heating, plus the 2 outer rear seats can be reclined. The front seat frame was widened in 2018 with deeper foam cushioning, and the controls have been moved to the door panel for ease of use. Top of the range semi-aniline leather front seats feature 24-way adjustment, alongside integrated climate and hot stone massage function. You can select softer, winged headrests, plus extra adjustability in the seat back for those in the front, called upper seat articulation. The massage function now features 14 cells in each seat, offering a more varied and relaxing massage than before. It's a quiet cabin too thanks to 6mm thick glass minus 20% more than before, to help keep out wind and road noise. Lots of interior space as a large 4x4, the amount of interior space is impressive. There is a lot of space for both front and rear passengers including increased leg, shoulder and headroom. While the presence of leather and wood add to the feeling of premium quality, the interior layout is also designed to provide enhanced levels of comfort. There is plenty of room for 4 adults through the central seating. The rear is not great for an adult for long journeys. A rear seat entertainment package, 8.0-inch headrest mounted screens or 10-inch high-definition foldaway versions, can also be specified, which displays sat-nav information, as well as television and includes 2 wireless headphones. Party in the front, business in the rear. For the ultimate indulgence you'll want the rear executive class seats option, which can be added to SV Autobiography long wheelbase, Autobiography and Evoque models. These 2 individual powered seats feature wider seat frames, deeper foam and a new design aimed at mimicking a wraparound lounge-like interior. There's also a memory setting, powered headrests, rear center console armrest, cushion adjustments, massage function and 40-degree recline. All seat functions can be controlled via a smartphone app, whether inside or outside the vehicle. The middle pew houses a special console featuring all the controls and an optional cooler compartment, which can now be moved at the touch of a button to make space in the center footwell, and enabling passengers to exit from either side of the vehicle. When in use, this provides a home for drinks and personal items. A passenger seat away function does what its name suggests, dismissing the front left chair. Check there's no one in it first, in order to extend rear occupant space. Long wheelbase car offers extra space while legroom in the standard car isn't exactly at a premium. There's an extra 186mm in the long wheelbase car, plus seat backs that recline even further, which offers the pinnacle of comfort in a Range Rover. Powered tables and side door blinds are standard, the latter for limousine-style privacy, as is a rear center console with bottle fridge to keep your vintage champagne cool. 3 standard trims, plus long wheelbase SV Autobiography Dynamic Performance model well equipped from the off with limitless options. If you want to know the definition of bewilderment is, then just look at the Land Rover Range Rover equipment list. You are lulled into a false sense of security with just 3 trim levels: Vogue, Evoque and Autobiography. Standard equipment. Evoque standard equipment consists of terrain response. It does not come with the auto mode, a powered split rear tailgate, automatic windscreen wipers, front and rear parking sensors, front cooler compartment and central console, 8-inch centrally mounted touchscreen, Bluetooth connection, DAB radio, digital TV, metallic paint and sat-nav for both on and off-road. Evoque adds adaptive cruise control, terrain response too, has the auto mode that works out the off-road conditions and adapts the 4-wheel drive system to match, upgraded mirrored and audio system, touchscreen with dual view so passenger can view TV while driver can see the sat-nav, soft door close, heated and cooling front seats, powered recline on rear seats, laminated rear door and quarter light glass, helps further reduce road and wind noise, and auto headlights with high beam assist that automatically dips the main beam if detects traffic ahead. Autobiography is the top trim and it adds a panoramic sunroof with powered blind, choice of 21-inch or 22-inch alloys, addition of massage function on front seats, heated front steering wheel, powered lumbar adjustment for rear outer passenger seats, blind spot monitoring with reverse sensing and surround camera system that helps with trailer towing, and illuminated aluminium scuff plates. Land Rover Range Rover accessories. There are a claimed 18,000 options plus to personalize your Range Rover, so finding something to suit your tastes should be possible. Colors and design. There are 16 interior color schemes to choose from, plus several veneer finishes and even 3 roof lining colors. You can exercise your artistic bent to the tune of 15 different colors, including metallics and contrasting roof colors. The Autobiography Trim grows the choice to 22 colors, including a chroma flare finish which changes color depending on the light. Just when you are thinking that's it, you can choose which type of finish for door handles, side vents, door and bumper accents. There are 7 alloy designs to choose from, including 20-inch up to major blink 22-inch alloys. Optional equipment. The panoramic roof is only standard on the Autobiography, and it really makes the cabin feel light and airy. The powered blind ensures that bright sun can be kept out if needs be. Alloy wheel upgrades and tire pressure monitoring systems are available, as is a full-size spare wheel. Other options to tick are park assist, which helps steer the car into a parallel parking space, a full-on mirrored-in audio system with 1,700 watts of power, and rear seat entertainment setup with touch screens in the back of the front seat headrests supplied with 2 wireless headphones. For those looking for the ultimate way to travel, there are the rear executive seats, with the central bench seat being replaced with a flowing central console that houses a cool box and the controls for the powered rear seats. 5-star Euro NCAP rating. Load of safety tech added for 2018. Driving position is high above traffic. The Range Rover SUV was awarded the maximum 5 stars by Euro NCAP and features myriad safety systems, including a full range of airbags such as curtain, thorax, passenger and driver. There are also many electronic systems designed to help prevent accidents whether on or off-road, including a rear-view camera, lane departure warning, emergency braking, front and rear parking sensors, cruise control and speed limiter as standard. The drive pack adds a blind spot monitor, adaptive speed limiter and traffic sign recognition. Drive Pro Pack enhances this with high-speed emergency braking, blind spot assist and lane keep assist. The adaptive cruise control with Q Assist uses a forward-looking camera and improved radar system. There is also a trailer stability control designed to help prevent fishtailing, plus there is a surround camera system so you can literally keep an eye on the trailer and its load. Plenty of interior and boot space, several storage boxes inside the car. Activity key added in 2018. The Range Rover has always majored on practicality thanks to its go-anywhere ability, roomy cabin and large boot. The front cup holders can be slid forward to reveal a deep storage area, plus there's a cubby box with double-level hinge tray. A lockable glove box provides enhanced security, and you can have this compartment cooled as an option. Front and rear door bins hold large 1.5-liter bottles, and long wheelbase models get an even larger rear cubby box. Up front, passengers get 2 USBs, an HDMI and 12-volt connection points in the front console cubby box, plus a 12-volt socket in the glove box and a USB point in the storage area underneath the cup holders. In the rear you get 2 12-volt charging points, a domestic plug socket, and 2 USB and HDMI points, while the load space also houses a 12-volt and a second domestic plug socket. Long wheelbase models also get an additional USB charge point in the storage box at the rear of the center console. Land Rover's activity key was added to the Range Rover in 2018, enabling the locking and unlocking of the car via a waterproof wristband. While the Range Rover SUV is a very big car that will challenge all but the most capacious parking bays, it's not overly wide, so you won't have any drama on roads with a white line down the middle. The boot is huge with 909 liters of luggage space that grows to a massive 2,030 liters with the rear seats down. There are remote switches in the boot too to quickly create a flat load space. Land Rover also offers an electronically deployable tow bar on the new Range Rover, as well as roof rails to fix a roof box or cycle carriers to. You get a split tailgate as standard, with the bottom section acting as a seat, and this can be optionally opened by gesture control. Remote intelligent seat fold technology means you can move the first and second row via a smartphone app. That means you can fold them flat while queuing in John Lewis for a massive sideboard.